Casting directors give bad advice. Unpopular opinion, or the thing actors are afraid to say. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tiwana Floyd. I'm an actor in LA, and I am striving for autonomy. Now, I'm going to share why I stopped taking casting director advice. Not out of disrespect, but out of liberation. This isn't a rant, it's a realization. In my 20 years of living in LA, I have clocked over 10,000 hours of attending casting director panels and workshops, both in person and online, and I have finally come to the terms with officially unsubscribing from hearing casting directors talk, because the common theme is always, actors do everything wrong. And here's what we don't want you to do. Don't wear a low-cut blouse. Don't slate this way. Don't do accents. Don't use props. Don't start your scene in profile. Don't move too much. Don't move too little. Don't have that ring light in your eyes. Don't send postcards. The list is endless, and I'm sure you can add to the list. For years, I have studied casting directors like they had the secrets to the industry. And at some point, I stopped trusting myself. I was performing from fear. Every instinct I had, I'd second guess it because I was trying to be a good little actor who followed all the rules from their voices in my head. I became compliant, the compliant one, the casting director pleaser. I thought if I followed every bit of their advice exactly, I'd become the perfect actor that they'd hire. My auditions became safe, lackluster, predictable, agreeable, and void of emotion because I had lost myself in a list of don't do's, and I was losing opportunities by trying to do everything right, and I was stuck. I stopped pitching myself, I stopped being creative in the audition, stopped making intuitive choices, and constantly questioning would they like if I did this or that. I was frozen by control. Now, I should preface that this isn't a casting director takedown because many of them truly want actors to win, but sometimes their advice isn't divine law, it's emotional. It's a pet peeve disguised as a professional standard. And I get it, it's their way of controlling chaos. And if you're a people pleaser, like I was, you internalize it and you start molding yourself into their preferences instead of refining your own artistry. I'll never forget this one audition. The scene was heavy. I played a woman who overhears a young girl being accosted in a park bathroom by a man. Now, I played it with fear and with courage because as a native New Yorker, I know what it means to face danger. You have to show that you will be unrelenting to the predator, so the predator knows that they've got a fight on their hands even if I'm afraid. Well, the casting director, after my read, looked down at his script and smugly said, "I don't believe you. I don't believe that you would react this way. I know for sure that I wouldn't react this way." And in that moment, I felt, how the F do you know how I would react? Now, looking back, I wish I actually said, I have lived this experience and this is how I reacted. But if you want me to be less courageous, I can do that. Of course, I didn't say that, so instead I shrunk myself and gave a safe version because I wanted to be a good little actor to please this casting director who knew nothing about my background. I allowed myself this disbelief to override my intuition. I assumed he knew better. But when you look at the actors who truly stand out, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Matthew McConaughey, Mahershala Ali, Walton Goggins, they don't follow formulas. They follow the truth. They follow themselves. The actors who rebel, who do it their way, are often the ones who succeed. Not because they're reckless, but because they're real. And I knew it was time for me to return to me. And that required unsubscribing from the advice of casting directors' don't do's. And this realization is relatively new. It started during the pandemic as I began playing in my self-tapes. While most actors were flocking to Zoom to hear casting directors tell us how to self-tape, I tuned them out. I tuned out the noise. And can we talk about how many times we've heard, "Don't send us postcards, save the trees, oh, I just throw them out." And the whole room of actors are nodding like, "Okay, no postcards, right?" So, if you don't know that I exist, how am I supposed to get on your radar? I mean, think about it. Actors are low-key door-to-door salespeople trying to get someone to buy our vacuums, aka talent. Now I'm being told, don't attempt a very basic marketing tactic in a saturated market by just simply sending postcards. And by the way, the whole purpose of a postcard is to read it and throw it away. And I'm not being facetious. For a while, I was spiraling, thinking, oh no, this CD doesn't like postcards. Will they blacklist me? Will they get mad if I send them one? And that's the neurosis, right? The paralysis, the fear, the frozenness, the control. And then one day I said, you know what? I don't care what they say. It's my career. It's my right to promote myself. Besides, telling a room full of actors doesn't mean that I got the message, right? But just like everything in life, there are pros and cons to everything. Now, these are the pros, the things that I do appreciate about casting directors. 1, insight. Casting directors know what industry professionals want in auditions, and they can offer helpful tips to improve our performance. 2, networking. Good relationships with a casting director can help get you noticed and land more auditions, and their recommendations can open doors. 3, feedback. Casting directors give helpful feedback after auditions so that you can improve your skills. And 4, process. Learning how casting works can make auditions less stressful, and it can help you perform better. 5, nuances. Casting directors notice those small details that matter in auditions, and they can help you improve those things. But the cons that drive me crazy, I have to remember that when I encounter a casting director, not to take it personally. Number 1, subjective opinions. They're human. Therefore, their advice can be critical or personal. And it may not always match my thoughts, but their tips often conflict with one another, so I've got to figure out what works best for me. 2, pressure to conform. I feel like I can be pushed a certain way, even if it doesn't fit my style, so I've got to balance the industry advice with personal creativity. It isn't easy, but I have to stay clear that this is something that I need to do. Loss of authenticity, like relying too much on a casting director's advice, can also make my performance feel like I'm losing my unique qualities. 4, limited time. Casting directors are often busy and overworked, so sometimes their advice maybe is misconstrued. I've learned that seeking advice from casting directors can be valuable, but it's important to approach it with discernment. Take what's useful and don't internalize the rest. I'm done shrinking to fit a casting director's don't do list. I'm done letting someone else's preferences override my truth. And I'm done auditioning for approval. But what I will do is bring myself and my point of view, advocating for myself without being combative or disrespectful, while standing in my worth. What about you? What are your thoughts on casting director advice? Do you feel controlled by it? Have you ever felt dismissed or second-guessed yourself because you follow the don't-do list of rules instead of trusting your gut? I hope you'll share your story in the comments because I'd really love to hear from you. And, if this resonated with you, give me a like and subscribe to get notified on my latest postings. And I'll see you next time.